Hey everybody, welcome to the Power Hour of Love. I'm Charboil and this is
El Bandito.
How you doing tonight, El Bandito?
Oh, I'm doing great, senor. We're having a super fun time here tonight because we are going to be talking about something that I super absolutely love, man. We are going to be talking about conventions.
Oh, I know it, man. And we're not talking about like your business conventions or like your school conventions. We're talking about what kind of conventions?
We're talking about comic book, anime, film, horror. Oh, man, just all the nerdy conventions that they have out there and all the super exciting events that they have dedicated to exactly what the Power Hour of Love is all about, spreading the love about nerdy things and about all the awesome stuff in the world today that we have to be excited about.
Oh, you know it, man. And the thing is like we've been to quite a few conventions in our time, and we know a lot of our fans out there have hit up a lot of conventions, man, and we love it, man, and we know you guys love it. So if you love it, man, go ahead and hit that share button, man. Share this with your friends. We want them to come on in and talk about the conventions. If they've never been to a convention, they're going to hear all about the crazy things that go on and the cool people that you can meet.
Absolutely, guys. Now, what we realized was that this year they have like an unprecedented number of conventions going on all over Florida, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like convention mania sweeping the nation. So we figured we would just focus on kind of our backyard here in Florida, and we wanted to focus on like the spring because there's so many conventions that like there's like, what was it, like 35 to 40 conventions
this year? I mean, now we know what a lot of people are saying, man, you would think that, it's going to drown it out. But man, what's so cool is that, like you said, even though there's so many, they're all kind of focused on different things, different sizes, different guests. So man, it's just so cool that like all these different facets of nerdyism are getting into the convention realm.
Absolutely, man. It's super cool, and we figured we'd just take tonight to focus on a couple of the ones that we really are the most interested in, and we'll also tell some stories about why we think you guys should be going to these conventions, because we've gone to a handful of them, and there's always a really unexpected fun factor to it that we wanted to share with you guys about some of the cool stuff that we've experienced at different cons. Also in the show tonight, we've got some PoDunk news. I know Senior Bull's got some wild stories he found this week for that, so stick around for that. We've got a couple segments of that coming up. But we figured we'd just kick it right off.
Let's get right into the fun.
Talking about some conventions, man. Let's do it.
Oh, here it is.
Boo, 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 boo. Let's see. First up,
loading up.
We have got
loading up the love.
It's coming.
It's coming. Oh man, this is pretty cool, man. This is cool. We talked about South Florida, man, but we're talking a little bit more in the little northern, but still on the coast, man. We're talking about the Daytona Beach Comic Con.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, Daytona's a little farther north. It's not really a South Florida thing. But like we said, it's Florida, man. You got to show some love all over. And Daytona's really pulling it out with a great convention this year, man. Their lineup really looks pretty dope. So we definitely wanted to bring this one up because we normally head out to Orlando. We head down to Fort Lauderdale. We've made it out to Tampa. But we never made up the trip to Daytona.
Exactly.
So we've been up there for other nerdy events. We went to some music festivals and all up there. But yeah, this convention we saw a couple of guests and a couple exciting things they're doing that we figured we'd share with you guys because it may just be worth the trip up to Daytona this year.
Oh yeah, man! If you guys are interested in it, man, this one's going down in April. It's April 21st through the 22nd, so you got 2 days of awesome action. It's taking place at the Embry-Riddle ICI Center. So yeah, I mean,
whatever that is.
I saw some photos, and I mean, it kind of gives me like it gives you kind of like that gymnasium kind of feel, But
it's probably like the International Car Emporium because it's Daytona, right?
That's true. I'm sure they probably have something to do with some of the who knows? Maybe some of their special guests might include a couple of vehicles, But
what is it? Gravedigger.
Yeah, or even like the Munsters
Bigfoot.
car.
They got Bigfoot out there.
I recently saw that the original like Munsters car is actually like up for auction.
That's awesome.
I have no idea how much it is. It's almost like that George Carlin car that we talked about.
They just auction them off together. George Carlin's car. Next up, we got the Munsters because that works. But I'm blown away by the prices of this convention. Tell them how much this convention is.
Oh, man. Well, this convention, for a daily pass, will only cost you $10, or you can get in the whole weekend for $18.
Yeah, that is nuts, man. I mean, most of these places are man, they're hawking you $45 like a day, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty
So,
expensive, man.
$10 daily. I was like, that's great, man. I mean, at first glance, you think like, that might be like, you know, maybe some local stuff or something. But wait till you guys see who they got up here. Let's jump to our first slide.
Let's do it. Oh man, this guest. I mean, well, you know, just by his picture, you guys might not recognize him, but when you hear the name, you're gonna be like, you know what? I think I've seen this guy before. This is Joel D Wynkoop, man. And if you're like still like, who is this, man? He is like the king of the B movies. I mean, Joel has, I think, been in like over like 100 or 200 like B movies.
Nice.
A lot of them actually filmed right here in the state of Florida.
Nice.
You know, just to tell a quick little story on Joel here, he was Dr. Longfellow in the classic Port St. Lucie movie Scary Tales.
Nice.
So I know a few weeks back, you know, one of our buddies, Bill from the Horror Mafia, had jumped in here and he was throwing down some sort of, Bill Castanelli actually starred in Scary Tales. So definitely, you know, Joel Wynkoop here has been in quite a few other, B movies. And definitely he's just a great guy to talk to. He's a great guy to follow on YouTube and here on Facebook. Just a good guy. Lots of fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, so a lot of these folks who work on smaller, films like that, They have so much experience, so much knowledge of how to make stuff happen. And here at the Power Hour, man, like, we love that. I mean, it's great when a studio throws a ton of money at somebody and they make the world's best movie. But you're like, well, yeah, when you have a ton of money, it's pretty easy to make a pretty great movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's apparently pretty easy to screw up a movie, too. But when you see people who kind of work on their shoestring budget and they make something great out of it, I mean, aren't those really the people that you want to talk to? You want to see a panel from? You want to learn their secrets. How'd you make something out of nothing, you know?
Yeah, why only talk to a guy that's only made 10 movies? Talk to a guy that's made almost 200 movies. You know, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of great stories. And like you said, just a lot of stuff to share. And I'm sure he's going to have quite a collection of his classic movies with him. So definitely go up there and show Joel Wynkoop some love.
Absolutely, guys. But if you're a bit more on the wrestling side of things, they have a super awesome wrestling celebrity guest here. They have got Rocky Johnson, man. That's right. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's dad is going to be there, man. He was in the WWE, I think, back in the day and stuff.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely. You know, he slammed around. I mean, just look at the physique of this guy in the picture. I mean, you can see where The Rock gets his genes.
This
from,
photo was taken this year.
But yeah, Rocky Johnson, man, he was awesome. I remember back in like the Attitude Era, like they actually brought him out, and like, you know, The Rock was like such a badass that everyone just thought he was going to be like, get out of here with your candy ass dad. But no, of course, like, you know, he went out and saved his dad. Like, I think like the Nation of Domination or someone were beating him up. But no, I mean, Rocky Johnson could definitely hold his own, man. But yeah, I would love to talk to Rocky, man.
Heck,
I mean, hey, it's The Rock's dad, you know? So I mean, I'm sure he's got some stories to tell too.
Oh, no doubt, man. So definitely a wrestling legend there, and part of that legacy of the lineage that goes behind kind of The Rock's whole legacy, Roman Reigns' whole legacy, all that, because obviously Rocky Johnson married into that family, you know?
Yep. Yeah, huge family. I mean, all the, Yokozuna, Rikishi, you know, I mean, the list goes on and on, you know, that famous Samoan family. But yeah, Rocky Johnson, you know, Rock's dad. You know, I know quite a few people that we know would love to go up and, you know, maybe try to get the Rock's number from Rocky Johnson, you know.
No doubt, man.
But definitely, man, that, you know, as far as guests go, man, those are, I mean, just a few of the guys that are going to be at the Daytona Beach Comic Con, man. But definitely, those were ones that jumped out to us where we were like, man, we might have to make the trip just to go check those guys out.
Heck yeah, but it doesn't stop there, man. They've also got a costume contest with over $300 worth of prizes. They've got a ton of comic vendors, so people actually selling comic books and stuff. Plus, they'll be grading books there, you know, the CGC thing. I'm not a super fan of that because it's like they seal it in a plastic clamshell and you can't read it. Now, I understand, you know, preserving history, yada, yada, yada. If you can't read it, what are you preserving, man? You know?
That's true. That's true. Like you said, of course, you know, this day of eBay and all that stuff, people are always like, I want to know exactly what, you know, it almost gives it like a seal of authenticity. But like, you're right, man, you can't enjoy it for what it is once it's trapped in that coffin.
Well, what do you guys think out there, man? I see we got a couple people. Justin McPatches is in the house. I love to see that. Kelly Jade. Bishop's out there. Bishop, we even got some photos of you in tonight's episode. So hang around and check it out, man. We're talking about con stuff later. But, yeah, what do you guys think of the CGC grading, man? Like I said, they take comic books, classic comics, they lock them in a clamshell, and they seal them, and they give them a rating of how pristine it is. Do you think that's good for comics, or do you think that's bad? What do you guys think, man? Shout out in the comments. Let us know. And until then, I think. Well, why don't you tell them a little bit of a Comic-Con story, Senor Bull?
Oh man,
I think everybody would enjoy that.
Well, like we said, man, we've been to cons big and small. We're definitely gonna talk about a bunch of them tonight. But man, I want to talk about kind of one of the local conventions that we went to. About 2 or 3 years ago, someone had this great idea where they were like, you know what? Horror movies and stuff are really booming right now. We're gonna do a horror convention, like a freak show, which is right up our alley. We're fans of Jim Rose and all those crazy cats,
Absolutely.
So we were like, we'd love to go to the freak show, and I thought they did a really good job. They had a little thing where you could walk through and people were dressed up like freaks. But man, I got to show something real quick that I was able to pick up at the freak show that I couldn't get anywhere else.
Oh man, now if you got it at just the freak show, this is going to be something pretty gnarly. So what do you got there, Senor Bull?
Oh man, we got here this Tales from the Crypt.
Oh man.
Now, I know what everyone's thinking. They're like, man, aren't those books 60-something years old? Well, not to, this is actually a new series that's put out by Z Comics. But the thing is that these are really hard to come by. Nowadays, they only had a limited run. So it's when I saw them, and they had pretty much every copy here. And it is the trade paperback version. Yeah. But still, I was like, I got to get them because I loved the stories and the old,
But it's like a reprint of the original stories?
Yes.
That's awesome.
With also some of the newer artists making some new tales as well. So you get a little mix of the old and the new.
That's great, man, because, it's exactly my point. When you have these older books and they're rare and then people start clamshelling them up, it's hard to read the story. So here you have the opportunity to actually read the story and get introduced to some new tales. I mean, that can't be beat, man. That's pretty wicked.
Exactly. Like I said, it was just a local con, I know I see Justin McPatches down there saying I was there. Yes, actually it was really cool. Justin got up there and he was talking about, how to produce a podcast and stuff. And that's what's great. You go to these local shows and, it really gives exposure to guys like us and our affiliates, and it's a lot of fun. It doesn't always have to be big name artists and movie stars, even though they did have a couple there. Remember Tyler Mane was there and a couple other guys.
Yeah, he played Sabretooth in the original X-Men movie, the 2000 one.
Oh yeah, man. But this is my little pride and joy from the freak show.
Well, very cool, Senor Bull. That's a pretty wicked find there, man. And I have to say that freak show was really cool. I remember we met that one model there too.
Yes, yeah.
Do you remember her name?
Birdie Lee.
Birdie Lee, man. Look, you got a mind like a steel trap. You'd think the one thing I'd remember would be hot chicks I met. Nope.
Well, definitely. Birdie was very nice, and I know she was really into cosplay. We'll have to look her up and see if she's still running around dressing up as those awesome characters.
No doubt, man. Well, either way, she was super nice. It was cool to kind of see some of the inner workings of the freak show as you kind of go in their little, like Senor Bull said, they had a little amusement thing, where you pay a couple bucks and you walk through, and it's like a fun house, but in each little stop that they have actors portraying classic freak shows, sideshows. So
absolutely.
Really cool stuff, man.
Absolutely, man. It's just a lot of fun. So you want to move on to the next big event that's kind of coming around, man? I think everybody would be excited for.
Yeah, let's do it, man, because I got to say the name of this one really cracked me up when I saw it.
Let's see it.
So we've got the Infinity Toy and Comic Con up in Kissimmee.
Oh man, this one. I mean, I think it's definitely some real good marketing here, especially with that big Infinity War coming out later this year.
Absolutely, man. I have to say, this kind of made me laugh. That I was like, man, talk about just trying to ride the coattails of something. And I'm like, how long has this been out? Because a lot of the San Diego Comic Con, MegaCon, whatever, they've been out 10, 15 years, 20 years.
Sure.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this came out after the Avengers did, and they're like, that's going to go somewhere, dude. If we just ride this out, we'll be good. And I kind of felt bad because you sent me the link to this and the info on it, and I was looking up trying to get some clips for the show and all, and I got totally upset because I couldn't find any of the guests or anything that you were talking about. And it took me a while to realize I was on the website for Infinity Con, which is another convention that they're having in Lake City, Florida, which is just like 2 hours west of Jacksonville, so probably 2.5 hours or an hour and a half north of Orlando of where the other one's at.
That's pretty funny, man. So they got similar titles. Like you said, you're probably like, what is he doing? Sometimes we do get a little confused here at the Power Hour. Our wires get crossed. But, man, so this was a completely different convention, huh?
Completely different convention, and I have to say it looked really nice. It was a smaller convention. They didn't have any celebrities, no famous book artists or anything, but they had all the kind of local and area distributors and marketers, people who made things, local cosplayers and stuff like that. And I loved their website. I mean, their graphics were great.
Cool.
And it didn't seem like I said, the biggest thing in the universe, but it was reasonably priced, like we said earlier, $10-15 or something to go in for one day. And it was just a nice local convention. It looked really good, and the more I looked at it, the more I was like, man, I kind of want to give them a shout out, just because
cool.
they're doing it right. They actually have a tap dancing troupe that shows up there who are cosplayers, and they all dress up like different superheroes, and they do a tap dance number together. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
Absolutely, man. No, that's good. Like we said, it's not always about big names and guests and stuff like that, man. Sometimes it's just a lot of cool people coming together and having a good time.
Absolutely, man. But getting back to the Infinity Toy and Comic Con, right?
Yes.
Up in Kissimmee. This one's taking place, I think, in March 3rd?
Yes, yeah. It is only one day, but it sounds like it's going to be a one day of great action.
Absolutely, man. And again, you can tell they're like, we're going to put Black Panther like right on the cover of our advertising thing this year. These guys know these guys know what they're doing, man.
Oh,
right,
man.
So it looks like they're going to have Hall of Fame inductee, man.
Oh,
I'm going to butcher this guy's name. Tell him what his name is there.
That's Larry Zabisco.
Okay. Zabisco.
Yes, and
nice.
He like I said, he's a classic, man. Larry was a commentator on WCW Nitro for quite some time, and I mean he's a classic I think a second or third generation wrestler.
Nice.
Just in his own right. So I mean definitely, just to have him at their convention, I'm sure they're really excited.
Absolutely, man. I mean, anytime you get a Hall of Famer coming in right before they are getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, that's going to pull some numbers and that's going to pull some crowd, man. So that's pretty exciting to me. And I've never seen that before. I've never seen a Hall of Fame inductee being at a con. Have you ever seen something like that?
Nah, man. But it's kind of cool because like I said, like I've seen this guy, and he goes around to the different wrestling things, and he's still an active member in the wrestling community. I mean, I don't think he gets in the ring anymore, but he goes out and he scouts talent and stuff like that. So, like you said, no, I think it's really cool, and like you said, being that it's an inductee, it's like definitely you're gonna see him soon.
All right, man. Well, again, that's just scratching the surface there, because next up we have got Chuck Dixon, man.
Oh man, I mean, when you talk about artists, I mean, Chuck Dixon. I mean, he's responsible for some major characters out there.
Absolutely, man. Why don't you tell us a bit about who he's brought to the comic pages?
Well, I think like probably best right here in the panel we got here, Bane, and that whole shadow or the Nightfall. Yeah, he was behind a lot of that, and I mean he's done a lot of. I think that's probably like his core character that he had.
I know he's done a lot of Nightwing.
Yes, and Nightwing is definitely another one that he's just He's given so much to DC Comics, which I know probably Party Man Will would be really excited about. But definitely Chuck Dixon. I know he's been to like a lot of the MegaCons and stuff like that. So it's really great that he's coming out for this local con, and giving them a hand. So definitely, look forward to seeing Chuck up there.
Absolutely, man. And that's quite an autograph to get. If you have any of those classic Batman stories, getting a Nightfall or something signed by him would just be killer, man.
Absolutely, man. So what's really cool about this event, it's only $8 to get in. So
nice.
I know we were saying earlier, the $10 to $18 was a good deal, but man, this is a great deal. And not to mention, besides the guests, there's going to be a bunch of comic and entertainment vendors. So very cool.
Absolutely, man. You know, it's always cool that they have a lot of extra stuff there, but vendors are really something to look forward to at a con, man. You know, because a lot of times you get out there and you just find some really cool stuff as far as T-shirts and merchandising and things you didn't even know that they made before. I mean, I actually saw them selling like evening gown looking clothes that were for women that were like Harley Quinn's dress or a Wonder Woman dress, you know, or tap dancing shoes, you know, like the cosplayers would use, made in the style of superheroes, or top hats with monocles for steampunk people. I mean, some of the vendors are some of the best people you find at these cons.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, and the same thing, like with a smaller con like this, you'd probably have more of an opportunity to go up and talk to them, you know, kind of find out where they're from. Who knows? You know, you might make some connections and some new friends, too.
No doubt, man. All right, guys, we're back there. I guess our old, buddy, the internet, decided to be like, nope, and junk us right out of there. But thanks for everybody who's hanging around or joining us back up for part 2. We're going to try to shoot this back out into the Facebook Live universe out there, and we'll get right back to talking about some convention stuff here in a minute. So I don't think we were getting any of the comments that you guys were sending us in the first part of the video there because our internet connection was somehow defunct there. I don't know what was going on. So, but thank you, Alex Kish. We saw you were throwing some awesome gifts in there and stuff as we were trying to reboot everything here. So thanks for joining us, guys. We're getting right back into talking about some cons, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like you said, man, it's always, when you're putting on this online show and stuff, there's always a lot of factors that kind of
I think it's this graphic right here, the live. I made this tonight, and it was like, yeah, you're live. Boom, we can totally jack with your show. Don't even worry about it.
Absolutely, man. But, like we said earlier, man, if you guys could help us out and hit that share button, get some more cats in here partying with us, man, that would be so awesome. We're going to be talking all about the conventions, man. We were just talking about great, Daytona Beach Comic Con, Infinity Con, Infinity Toying Comic Con, man. Like great, we're not just saying like, we're only supporting all the big giant cons where like, things are, bringing in all these like, 50 different guests. We like, some of the smaller guys too, man. Give them some love.
Yeah, because you don't got to go out there and spend $1 million just walking in the door somewhere to go and have a great con experience, man. You can go to these smaller venues and see these great vendors who make all this creative stuff, man. I mean, if you're a fan of Etsy or, online shopping, your Redbubbles and stuff like that, where artists can create things that you can buy, dude, you want to get to a convention. Because these vendors are hand-making all sorts of knickknacks and items. You can get chains for Superman or Batman, and they're hand-stamped or engraved. And, they make custom T-shirts and custom clothing, all sorts of really great stuff, man. So, again, I'm not sure if that got cut off at the end of when we were getting booted off there. But the vendors are some of the best resources at these cons. And they're just happy to be there, man, And that's one thing I can say about cons in general is that even when you're heading out to one, it's always a little nerve-wracking in the sense of like, these are big-time celebrities often that are at these conventions. And it can be very nerve-wracking to walk right up to a superstar celebrity and start saying something dumb like, can I get your autograph, But while we've all seen these horror stories on TMZ and stuff of people harassing celebrities, this is absolutely not the case at a con. These people have shown up there to meet you, They're there to meet their fans. And every single person we've ever seen is so nice, and they're so happy to meet you. They're so just overjoyed to see fans that actually like them that, I mean, it's never a bad experience,
Absolutely, man. Like I said, I don't think we've ever had a situation where it's been like, oh, man, that was a real letdown.
Yeah, or somebody was rude or snarky. No, you never get that, man, because these people are there. And, again, you're throwing money at them, so, of course, they're not going to be dumpy to you. But you're giving them a couple bucks. You're telling them, hey, man, I'm a fan of your work. I love what you did in XYZ. It's so great to meet you. You shake their hand and you leave. Don't be a creeper. Don't touch them too long or anything weird. Yeah. But for the most part, they're as excited to meet someone who's passionate about the work that they've done as you are to meet someone who did the work that you love,
Absolutely, man. And like you said, I know we've got tons of cool stories to tell.
Yeah.
Do you got one that you might want to share with the audience about a good Comic-Con experience?
Yeah, you know what? Right in tune of talking about meeting a celebrity and how difficult it is, especially if you really admire them, you really like their work. I think I've got a story that's right up that alley. And it's why I wore this shirt today.
There you go.
So a lot of you guys out there might be like, what the hell is El Bandito wearing? Because that is the weirdest shirt I've ever seen. Well, follow me along on this awesome journey throughout the story here, and you're going to find out exactly what this shirt means if you don't know. So Justin McPatches, I'm surprised. You might know. It's not really from a horror movie, but you might know. So anyways, we head out to MegaCon a few years back, and Lauren Cohan is going to be there.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I know her from Supernatural. She's in season 3. I know that she's in the Vampire Diaries. A lot of you guys out there probably know her as Maggie from The Walking Dead. At the time, this was maybe the second season of The Walking Dead, was in the middle or had just wrapped, so she's fairly new on the show, but I have been a longtime fan of her career and seen her in a couple different shows and stuff like this, and I find out that she is here at MegaCon, and I am psyched, man. But I'm psyched in that capacity of, like, it's hard enough being like, hey, I'm going to go meet Stan Lee or Patrick Stewart or something. But when you're like, this is also a super gorgeous woman, that just takes it to the nth degree of being like, it is difficult to cold approach someone and just start a conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So I know we're outside of kind of the bullpen where they keep all of the actors and actresses and stuff in there, the celebrity guests. They keep them in a nice big open area so they can have these lines and stuff. It's the beginning of the day. It's Friday, the opening day of the weekend.
Yep.
And we like to go and try to get our celebrity stuff done then, because the crowd's not so busy. It hasn't really filled out yet, So we head on over there, and sure enough, the crowds are just leaking in. They're just starting to get them in lines, and they're moving them kind of from left to right, but it is open on the left. So we kind of sneak in on the left side, and we realize that we can walk right up to Lauren Cohan's table, and she's just there with no line. No one's like everyone's kind of lined up on the right, and we can just walk in and talk to her. And she has someone with her there, and I'm just pacing back and forth, and I'm so nervous. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh man, how can I go and talk to this woman? She's beautiful, and she's a great actress, and she's so talented, and like, I'm just some schlub. I'm nobody, And Senor Bulls, he's so great. He's a great friend. He's like, hey man, she puts on her pants one sexy fine ass leg at a time, just like the rest of us.
There you go, man.
And I was like, all right, dude. He's like, dude, just go up to her and say, hi, my name's Charles. And that's it. That's all. It's like meeting a normal person. And I'm like, you're making it too easy. But okay, I'll give that a shot. That sounds like a good piece of advice.
There
Just
you
walk
go.
up, introduce yourself. Hey, my name's Charles, man. What's going on? So in my head, I'm saying this over and over again. My name's Charles. My name's Charles. My name's Charles. And I'm walking right up to her table. I get about 15, 20 feet away, and her and the person she's with, they notice me, and they look over, and she's looking at me, and she kind of does this little squint, and I come walking up, and I look like that guy whose hand is out way too far for the handshake in advance. So I've got my hand out there, and I'm walking up, and she says to me, hey, man, that's a really cool shirt. What is that? And, of course, I'm like, hi, my name is Charles. Because that's what I prepared to say, damn it, and I was going to say it. So I said that, and she said, oh, hi, my name's Lauren. And I was just like, have you ever seen the movie The Fifth Element? And she was like, yes, I have. I said, there's a scene in the opening of the movies where the police come to Bruce Willis's apartment. And they tell him and everyone on his floor to put their hands in the yellow circles, and the cops will come by and examine each apartment. So he puts his hands on the yellow circles, and they open up the little screen, and they look inside, and they see him standing there. And because it's a futuristic sci-fi movie with aliens and stuff like that, they ask him, are you classified as human? And his response is, no, I am a meat popsicle. So my shirt is a meat popsicle with his hands in the yellow circles.
Pretty awesome.
And this probably sounds like the most retarded thing you could say to some random celebrity that you just met who wasn't in this film or anything like that. And because I think that she's probably the most special person in the universe, she looks at me and is like, oh my God, I love that movie. Yes, multipass. And she's totally joking about other lines in the movie. So it was a total riot. And we kind of both laughed about it for a minute, and I was telling her, hey, I'm a super huge fan of yours. I'd love to get an autograph from you. I'd love to get an autograph from my sister and everything like this. And she was so gracious and so nice. And I have to say, like, you see her in movies and stuff all the time, and she has these beautiful pale green eyes. But in person, they're so vivid and so bright. They're like, it's like looking into Medusa's eyes. You're frozen. I'm like, wow, you're stunning. You know? So she was just such a great, nice lady. And, of course, I got her autograph. I'll show you guys here.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait to see it.
This is pretty nice. So here we go. Here's Lauren Cohan herself. Sign this. And, you know, you have to get it personalized. You know, you can't just get someone's name because, you know, to eBay, you know, you can't be doing that. So you got to get it personalized. And I got it personalized. And, you know, she told me, she said, what do you want me to put on there? And I said, well, my name's Charles. You can just make it out to Charles. And she's like, no, that's boring, man. And she's like, I got to put something cool on here. And she's like, I really want to put stay in charge. But I feel like nobody would get that reference. You know? And I told her, I said, you know what? I get that reference. And if anyone ever asks me, why does it say stay in charge? It'll just be a secret between you and me. And she was like, deal, man. That sounds great. So that's what she signed on my freaking print. I absolutely love it. The woman's an angel. If you've ever had doubts or worries about meeting a celebrity, even someone that you may really like, love and think are just awesome and fanboy over or fangirl over, dude, do it because
Absolutely.
These people love it. They love the praise, you know. Who wouldn't, you know? So it's totally worth it. And you know, she was a wonderful woman. Feel free to tag her in this if you know her. I don't know, you know.
Or if you have fans that like The Walking Dead, I'm sure they would
Yeah.
think that's a very interesting story and how approachable she is.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. One of the most grounded, down to earth people we've ever met. And if I could real quick just indulge, I'll tell this part of the story very quick. As I'm having this conversation with her and she's signing these things for me, one of the handlers from MegaCon comes over and he asks her, hey, there's another guest who would like to come and get an autograph from you, but she has a live rabbit with her. And I just wanted to make sure that was okay with you. And Lauren's kind of looking at this guy like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
And she's like, what do you mean? And the guy says she has a live rabbit. It's part of her costume because she's a cosplayer, and she's cosplaying as an anime character who has a rabbit. And the guy says, is that okay with you? And she's like, I don't understand what you're asking me, you know? And I told her, I said, hey, man, is this the like the rabbit from Monty Python's Holy Grail? Like, is it going to come chew her up or what, you know? And I think she finally realized that's what the guy's trying to say. Like, do you mind a live animal being near you? And she's like, oh, dude, no, I don't have any allergies. And she's laughing. She's like, dude, that Monty Python thing, that's hilarious. She's like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, do I have to touch it or hold it or something? And the guy's like, no. She's just going to have it. And we wanted to make sure it was okay. It's in a cage and everything. And Lauren's like, yeah, dude, I don't care. Tell her to come over here and check it out. But again, now we're laughing about the Monty Python stuff, which was so cool because she grew up in England. So a lot of shows you'll see her doing like an English accent because she kind of grew up with that. So I figured it'd be a joke that she liked, and she totally did because she's a super cool chick. So just awesome. Again, can't say thank you to her enough, and I can't encourage you guys more to be like, hey, go and take the gamble because these people are oftentimes really, really awesome.
Absolutely, man. And, man, we got a bunch of cool stuff coming up, other conventions. We also want to hear from you guys some of your best convention moments. But we're going to get to that in segment 2. But, man, I think, you know, look at this. We got Justin McPatches in here. What better time to jump into some PoDunk news?
Absolutely, man. That sounds like a plan to me. Let's go ahead and jump right over and see what's going on in the newsroom.
PoDunk News.
Oh, man. You know, if you've come looking for some crazy news, man, we're definitely going to have a healthy dose for you guys right now. But also we got some really cool entertainment stuff coming at you guys, too.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's, you know, real quick, man, why don't we pull up our first slide here,
Yeah,
man? I think you know, it's definitely some awesome things coming at you guys that I know we're excited about. Hopefully you guys will dig it too. Oh man. If you don't know this image, man, you guys need to go back and watch some awesome movies, man. We got here Bill S. Preston and Ted Theodore Logan with none other than Death. Which I'm sure everyone's like, well, why are you guys pulling up a movie that's almost like, 30 years old? Well, guess what? We got some cool news for you guys because they're trying to make them a Bill and Ted 3. Now, this has been out for a while now, this news, but what's really exciting is that William Sattler, who played Death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, has just recently started tweeting and stuff his interest in rejoining the cast, which I think's awesome.
Heck yeah, man. He's such a renowned actor and does so many parts and so many things that I don't know how he ended up being kind of that guy who's in everything, but you almost don't notice. But he is, man. He's in Star Trek, dude. He's in independent films. He's just in all sorts of stuff. He was in Iron Man 3.
You know, we were talking about Tales from the Crypt earlier. He was in the Tales from the Crypt movie. So,
yeah.
I mean, he definitely gets around.
Yeah. I mean, he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reprising his role as the president from Iron Man 3.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's not many actors that'll be like, yeah, I'll do the feature film and the TV show. Not a big whoop,
So the whole thing behind this, I know you guys are like, man, it's been like 30 years since there was another Bill and Ted movie, but the whole thing is it's, Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter have both said they're very interested in coming back. So, it's not like they're recasting any, the main roles, but, having Death come back is cool. And the whole working title right now isn't just Bill and Ted 3, it's Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Nice.
So let us know what you guys think about that. Do you think it's past its prime, or can they rekindle that joy? I think it's cool because it's getting back those core guys.
Yeah.
That really loved. Unfortunately, the late great George Carlin won't be able to join in as Rufus, but I'm sure they're going to work that into the story somehow.
Absolutely, man. I think it was a great duo of movies. I know a lot of people really shit on the second Bill and Ted movie, but I always liked it because it was kind of that push into the schlock territory of like they're really not taking themselves too seriously. And at the time, sequels were just so universally bad that it's like if you were going to make a bad sequel, you might as well just make it stupid and fun.
Sure.
And that's kind of exactly what they did.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I kind of always dug it.
Well, that's cool, man. Well, hopefully we'll see this sometime soon because we know those guys aren't getting any younger.
Absolutely, man. But I got to tell you, I've heard about some wacky stuff going on in the UK, man.
Oh, yeah. We know our UK fans will probably be able to comment on this. Man, yeah, there is a chicken shortage that has closed over 470 KFC storefronts in the UK.
Bastards, man. Who stole us a chicken?
I know, man. Everyone knows that skin is the best part, right?
I know. They don't need the chicken. Can we just make more skin?
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, apparently there's around 900 storefronts in the UK.
That's a lot considering like the UK is like the size of Kentucky.
That's true. That's very true, man. And it's just, but like I said, when you look at that, almost more than half their stores are now closed because of this chicken shortage.
That's wild, man.
Well, apparently they're saying that the stores will slowly reopen throughout the week as more and more chicken gets shipped. But absolutely, I thought this was a very interesting story that, I know here we never seem to have a chicken shortage.
Needs more trucking.
There you go. Oh, yeah, it's loading up in the... okay, we see. Look at this. We got Catherine D saying she would check out Bill and Ted 3. So
absolutely.
Maybe we could go have some KFC chicken afterwards. Not to rub it in, with our UK friends, right? But absolutely. Hopefully,
we'll get that gravy and just drink it like a shot.
Well, hopefully they get back on track very soon.
All right, but next up, we got an 11-year-old Boy Scout was sent a jury duty summons. Why don't you tell us about this, Senior Boy?
Oh man, I don't have a state on this one, but we know it's definitely legit. Being that the boy's only 11 years old, they didn't release a name or anything like that. But his mother attempted to get an exemption, but there's no option that exists for too young to serve. So the problem was traced from the courthouse was that they recently switched companies that they used to send out the summonses.
Sure, yeah, that compile the lists of available jurors and stuff like that.
Which I wish I would get that address because I'd like to send them a thing saying, "Don't send me."
No, I have to say this absolutely sounds like the premise for like a 1993 comedy, doesn't it? Like about the time when like Rookie of the Year came out.
Dunstan's Blank Check or whatever that one movie was.
Oh my god, that movie was such trash. That's two different movies you just mixed together that are total shit.
Oh, yeah.
Dunstan Checks In was the one with the monkey.
Yeah,
where he has
yeah.
a monkey and he lives in the hotel room. And then
Yeah.
I think Blank Check was the name of the one with like a 10-year-old kid who gets a blank check from like a
Yes.
mafia guy, and
Yes.
he cashes it, and it actually cashes for like $1 million. So two retarded movies I remember seeing as a kid that were just terrible.
Well, get this, man. You know, we were talking about this 11-year-old Boy Scout. Like, apparently he was actually excited. Like, he wanted
To
to
go to jury duty?
Yeah, he wanted to go serve.
He's a
but-
Boy Scout, man. He's gonna do his civic duty. Marker.
But of course, eventually, yeah, they were told, "Hey, we'll definitely bother you in a couple years." So,
Oh man. Well, I'm not sure what state that was from, man. Like you said, you didn't grab the state, but we can tell you this next story is going to be about Louisiana.
oh yeah, you know, just in a little bit over a month or so, you know, Louisiana's going to host WrestleMania. So, you know, we've been hearing a lot about that. You know, we're big wrestling fans. You know,
Heck yeah.
Elimination Chamber just happened, all that stuff. But man, the Louisiana Boxing and Wrestling Commission has banned any blood or pile drivers to be used during any show going on within the city limits
Wow.
during WrestleMania week.
Well, within the city or within the state?
Within the city. I think what it is
Okay.
it's because since that's like the city that's hosting it, they,
Gotcha.
they got to lock
gotcha.
on.
So they banned it on New Orleans.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah. Now, but here's the thing. You know, everyone's probably saying, well, that's just WWE. They'll work. But what happens is a lot of these other companies like Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
and
They all show up to where the WWE events are and do events
exactly.
around it.
They
Yeah.
know all the fans are going to be there. They're going to want some other wrestling. But yeah, so all these different events have to work within those same guidelines.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. I guess we won't be seeing any.
We won't get to see Tommy Dreamer pile drive a woman. That's definitely what we want.
That absolutely is true, man. Or you know, if you think about it, if the Undertaker comes back, I mean, Tombstone pile driver, ain't
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Hey, maybe they'll just say that's a tombstone. What do you
Yeah.
want on your tombstone? But no, we got to see. We you know, since we're talking about wrestling, we got to talk
Sure.
about it, man. What did we see a couple weeks ago?
Oh man, we went up there to the AWE wrestling
AWE,
event.
that's what it was.
Yeah, man, those guys are great. It was up there in Cocoa, so
Yes.
close to Daytona.
Yes.
You know what we're saying, and yeah, man, they just put on a great show, man. They kind of pride themselves as being like the new Extreme. So it's like, yeah, just a lot of they brought in a lot of post pro talent, you know, guys that have been around for a few years. Then they also had a bunch of newcomers
Yeah.
coming up, man. So it's
But
great to
I
see.
know I went because you sent me the promo that was like Tommy Dreamer's going to be there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, dude, Tommy Dreamer live. I'm totally watching that. So I know he was fighting kind of someone in their circuit who's like a
Yes.
bit of an up and comer guy, and that he trained with the Dudleys and stuff. What was his name? Do you remember? I'm
man,
putting you on the spot. I'm
Yeah, it
sorry.
escapes me at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. You know, we could definitely pull that up later.
Sure.
But yeah, great show. You know, I know they're going to be doing one in March as well once it gets closer to WrestleMania. So
Yeah, but I know the guy was there fighting, and he had a valet, you know, a young girl who came to the apron with him. She was like a cool goth chick with
Yep,
little Harley
yep.
Quinn pigtails, and she totally tried to interfere in the middle of the match. And dude, Tommy Dreamer pile drive this like 19-year-old girl, and I was like, that's the best thing I ever saw, man. I loved it.
that girl was like, "It's such an honor to be pile drived by you, Mr. Dreamer."
No doubt, man. She was all like, bleed on me, Tommy.
Awesome. But that's going to about wrap it up for this segment of PoDunk News.
Yeah.
We definitely have some more awesome stuff coming up later in our second segment of PoDunk News. So definitely, but man, I think it's time to jump back into the crowd, man. Let's see what they think about the Comic Con.
Absolutely. Let's jump back in the studio and see what the viewers think.
Oh, yeah.
Video Game Zone.
Oh, we'll head over there.
Audio time.
Man, there's
That was
definitely.
cool.
Yeah, there's.
For like no reason.
Oh, absolutely, man. Well, I love that transition anyway. But we're going to talk about some video game stuff later during the next segment of PoDunk News. But man, now we'd like to hear from you guys. If you guys been to any conventions, if not, which conventions would you like to check out? I mean, you know, if you're not familiar, like, you know, just think about it. Like, you go to this place, you can meet all different kind of stars. Who would you like to meet? Throw it down in the comments and let us know. And, you know, we'll definitely, we'll chat about it a little bit. But, man, how about you, El Bandito? Who would you love to meet at a convention?
You know who I'd love to meet that I'm actually pretty bummed I kind of missed out on?
Who's
was
that?
they had a couple of the cast members from Game of Thrones head up there, I think
yeah.
a year or so ago. And I really, really, really would have liked to have met a couple of them cats out there. And I say cats, but I'm like, I wanted to meet Sansa and Arya. They're like just two of the baddest chicks ever. Like, if you got to pick who your daughters would be in life, yeah, I'd pick them.
Absolutely, man. They seem like such cool girls too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, definitely Sansa also doing what's her name? Do you know?
Oh man, Maisie Williams.
Well,
I think,
Maisie Williams, I think, is Arya.
Oh, okay. Who's Sansa?
Yeah.
Oh,
because she also plays Jean Grey in the X-Men movies, which is really cool.
Oh man, I see Jason L's in the comments here. Maybe you can throw in a save for me. You know?
Well, here I can look it up here. We got some internets going on. Why not? It was only giving us a super hard time earlier. We might as well click on it. But let's see. Who does this say?
Oh man, Sophie Turner.
There you go, Sophie Turner. Did he beat me to it?
He did. Well, I think you guys are right on about. I know there's a little bit of a delay there, but yeah, thanks a lot, Jason. Oh yeah, Sophie Turner.
Yeah,
awesome
she's
actress.
awesome, man. She's so cool in the X-Men, and Femke Janssen, who played Jean Grey originally, was fantastic, but when they're kind of re-upping the cast and getting a lot of younger people in, I don't think they could have done better than Sophie Turner. She is just fantastic and a fantastic actress, portrays and conveys so much emotion, which is exactly what Jean Grey is going to need if they actually get around to doing this Dark Phoenix saga.
Absolutely, man. I completely agree. I think she's a great choice. She has the look. She's got the attitude. I think she's going to do great. So I can't wait to see it. And of course, the upcoming Game of Thrones season. We can't wait for that. Oh man, we're filling up here, man. Sorry, I just looked down here and I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, Justin McPatches, he's throwing out Spooky Empire. Man, keep that seat warm, man. We're gonna get there. But yes, Spooky Empire is awesome. Much love to them. Oh man, I see here. Catherine D is talking about that. At one of the conventions she went to, she was able to get a balloon animal made of like a person that she knew. So, I think we might be able to dig up some photos later that might be kind of cool to find that.
Absolutely. And I see someone chatting down here about mouse pads. Now, I actually saw someone years ago who was selling mouse pads at the convention. And I know a girl you were with, Senior Boyle, actually bought a sketch mouse pad so that there was like a drawing on it. And it was the redhead kid from Harry Potter. What's his name? Like Norman or something?
Ron Weasley?
Ron Weasley. There you go. And he's like not wearing a shirt and he's all buff and stuff, but he's still like 15. And I was like, there's something that's
borderline wrong. Is that what you know?
But yeah.
It was still okay. It was kind of weird.
Would you guys like to see some Harry Potter cast members at MegaCon? Would that be cool for you guys? Or at a local con of some kind? I mean, I really think right now, I think if I were to try to get myself to a con, what would really get me there would be the Defenders.
Oh, there you go. That would be you like Jessica Jones.
Yes, because
Charlie Cox.
They're not like the end-all, be-all, biggest A-list actors in the universe. It'd be like impossible to get them there. But if you could get Kristen Ritter, Charlie Cox, you get guy that plays Luke Cage. I can't think of his name. God, I'm so bad with names lately. I'm getting old, man. But get all those cats together. That would really be something to see. And really, a few years ago, the last one I went to was when they had the entire cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And remember, we went out to that to see them, and we got to see the panel of Patrick Stewart, and it was like $1,000 to meet the cast, so we didn't do that. But we got to see them. We actually bumped into them in the audience.
Oh, it was so cool.
They literally walked through our group of people, and it was Brett Spiner and Robert Picardo, and they looked like they had totally just gone motorcycle riding together. Like they had motorcycle helmets and leather jackets, and they looked badass. So we were all like, oh, my God, dude, it's so great to meet you. And they were nice. They were like, hey, yeah, great, cool. We have to go to the celebrity corral thing or we'll get mobbed out here. We're sorry. And they left. But it was nice that they even took a minute to talk to us. So
Kelly Jade threw down Tom Hiddleston, Loki from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Again, that's that sort of A-list celebrity that's difficult to get. But, yeah, if you could get him to come. I mean, I think Kelly Jade's she just needs to go to San Diego Comic Con.
You definitely get them all in one swoop,
Yeah, exactly. just shell out the big bucks, drop the $2,000 or whatever, and get out there and check it out. But yeah, because I think he's been at every single San Diego.
I think so.
For the last few years.
The one time he showed up in costume and he was like, "Oh, I've got control over this audience," and then I think Thor or someone came out. And it was cool. Katie D over here, she's saying John Diggle, so she's talking about David Ramsey. from the
Arrow, from the
so.
Arrowverse. Also, Ezra Miller, they say he's really great at cons.
Oh, definitely.
That he
cool,
dresses up as other characters, like not himself, but like anime characters and stuff.
Absolutely.
So the guy plays the Flash in the Justice League movies.
Yeah, no, this is really cool. I'm glad everyone seems to be enjoying the, chatting about the different cons, man. But can we talk about real quick about someone that we met one time that I was so stoked about?
Yeah.
Well, man, one time we were going around and we were just hanging out at the con and playing games and stuff. And dude, one guy said to El Bandito, I'm like, man, we gotta meet Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he was like, well, who is that again? And I was like, man, the Toxic Avenger, the Toxic Crusaders. I said, this is the guy who created that. And El Bandito was like, I remember that stuff. That's awesome. Let's hang out. Well, it just so happens that the lucky lady that I was with at the event, while me and El Bandito were off playing a LARP or something, because we like that kind of stuff, she actually ran into Lloyd and hung out with him for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And she was and she goes back, she's like, oh, I hung out with Lloyd Kaufman. We're like, what? And the next day we went to go visit him, and he was like, oh, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, because she's all like, oh, yeah, man, I totally hung out with Lloyd Kaufman. And we're like, whatever, dude. Yeah. And we see the guy the next day, and he's like, hey, so-and-so, calls her out by name. And we're just like, what? Like, that is crazy awesome.
And it was really cool because it was right around the time of my birthday.
Yeah.
And this awesome individual got me this book by Lloyd Kaufman.
Direct Your Own Damn Movie is the title.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say that it was really cool because Lloyd actually put, happy birthday to Charboil, XOXO, Lloyd Kaufman. The girl I was with, gay friend. So definitely, hanging out with Lloyd for a couple hours, he definitely was very fond of this individual, and so was I. So yeah, this was an awesome birthday present. Plus, we got to meet Lloyd, and I think a little later we're gonna actually show some photos.
Yeah, yeah. We you know what? Why don't we do that right now? Let's jump into some photos of cool con stuff. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, sounds
all right.
Good.
First off, I wanted to start off by showing this here. This is in the studio right above us here where we have our green screen and stuff.
Yes.
I actually have the entire, this collection here of art from Greg Horne, who shows up to MegaCon almost every year. He lives here in Florida, so he shows up almost every year. They never put him on, the guest list. I don't know if he doesn't want to be or if they're just totally shortchanging this guy, but he is an amazing, amazing artist. Most of his work looks like paintings.
Oh, yeah, it's so cool.
I know he does a lot of it digitally enhanced and stuff, so he does a lot of great digital art, and he did art for a mobile game. He did all the art for this latest Marvel card game that they have.
That's right.
I don't remember the name of it. I'm not into mobile games, but Greg Horne is so fantastic and so great. I had this bizarre experience meeting him because we walked by a booth and his art was on display, and I looked at it and was like, oh man, this is like a Greg Horne piece. I have this comic that this is from. And I looked at the one next to it, and I was like, oh, this too looks like something right in the same vein that he would have done. I've never seen this one before. This is really cool. And I was like, I really like this guy. And Senior Bull's like, dude, this is that guy's booth. It has his name and stuff on it. I bet that dude's here. So we wander around for a minute, and sure enough, we find Greg Horne, and the lady who works there is like, oh, come up and meet this guy. He's a fan of yours. So I told him, I said, hey, man, I'm such a big fan. You're the whole reason I started picking up the She-Hulk and Miss Marvel books back in 2006-ish. And I told him, I said, it was the cover of She-Hulk #7 where she's sitting at a bus terminal, and it's they have the advertisement on the bus bench stop, and it's for her She-Hulk's alter ego, Jennifer Walters. It's like, slip and fall, I'm the one to call kind of a thing. And she's sitting there like, haha. And then She-Hulk's sitting at the bench, with her hand on it the other way. And I'm like, that's so clever and so neat that it's both the Secret Identity and She-Hulk on the cover in this kind of funny little thing. And it was funny, he's in the course of explaining that to the guy who made the piece.
Yeah.
His face lights up like a Christmas tree. He realizes, from memory, I'm pulling this one image that he made. And he told me, he said the New York Transit Authority was on strike, and I thought that would be a good way of kind of showing them some love in a subtle way on the cover of this book. And I was like, that's so cool, man. And he went on to explain in each of these prints here that I bought the kind of secret message behind each one of them. So he's a super awesome and talented artist, but also really thought-provoking, that there's a hidden message in every single one of his pieces, man. So really cool stuff. I would definitely check out Greg Horne if you can find him at a con.
Absolutely, man. He was a very nice guy. I remember you talking to him and just getting all, great deal on all the prints and stuff. So, yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I know Bishop was with us earlier. I think he had to check out, man. I feel bad. But Bishop actually came with me. He's an ex-Marine. I know Justin K., you're a serviceman, man, so you'll appreciate this too. And Bishop's flipping through his catalog of work that he has there for you to buy prints. And he turns to one that has Captain America in Afghanistan helping a soldier.
Oh, there you go.
And Cap's basically dressed in his regular clothes, but his suit's kind of underneath it, so you can tell it's Cap, But he's dressed in regular uniform with the other soldiers. And he's like got a guy fireman's carry. He's like taking him to safety. And, Bishop, it moved him. Like he was stuck in that moment looking at it where he was like, man, this touches me because this is something so familiar to me in my life and something I experienced. And Greg Horne noticed this while he was talking to the two of us. And he asked him, he said, are you a serviceman? And Bishop showed him his, Marine Corps tattoo. And Greg told him, you can have this because I can see that it moves you. And it's my way of thanking you for your service, And I was like, wow, what a class act, man.
Absolutely. Like we said, man, Greg Horne, great artist. Go look him up on Facebook, like his page. Like you said, if you see something you like, I'm sure he does online prints too. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, I know we got a lot of cool photos to show these guys, man. So why don't we move on into the next area that
absolutely,
we
share
with them?
These two stories kind of go hand in hand because I know you had the exact same experience where we were walking through just one of the downtown alleys there at the con, man. Weren't paying any attention. I was probably, Joe Blow selling whatever. And you walked by a print and you said, oh my God, dude. They have a photo here of Jake the Snake Roberts. Yeah. This is so cool. We mentioned this a few weeks back.
Fighting Macho Man.
Yeah, we mentioned this a few weeks back on our wrestling episode. But you're like, dude, oh my gosh, look at this cool print. Oh, and look, they have a DVD. And oh, look, they have all this stuff. I love Jake the Snake. This guy is so cool. And man, I'm losing my mind because Jake the Snake is sitting at that table directly in front of Charboil. Yes. And he's like, oh wow, Jake the Snake is so he looks shy almost, he's like, oh, someone's just fanboying right in front of me. Yeah. And I was like, Senor Bull, dude, it's Jake the Snake right here. And no joke, you're like, oh my God, oh, it's Jake the Snake.
I definitely
freaked out, man.
I'm marked out, that's for sure.
But so we actually got to meet Jake the Snake. Here's me taking a photo with him. This guy was the greatest. He took this photo first with you and our friend named Jake.
Yes.
it was cool that he was named Jake too. But the three of you guys took a photo together, and he starts joking with you guys, and he's like, "Hey, which one of you guys is grabbing my ass?"
Yeah, he was awesome, man. I mean, and I'm no short guy. I mean, look at Jake. I mean, he's he's up
got
there.
4 or 5 inches on you easy, and I don't even think he's standing up straight. I think he's leaning on you.
Exactly, man. What a great time. As you can see, smiles all around.
Absolutely,
just so much fun.
He's just cutting a rug, and I will say that when I took hold on, let me go backwards here. When I took my photo with him a minute later, he was like, now this guy's got the touch. He's grabbing my ass just right.
he knew who it was.
Yeah, man. So Jake, dude, you're the man, bro. Thank you for this awesome experience. And we couldn't say enough good things about it, man. Super fun. So but from there, we did head over to another little wrestler extreme over here, the legendary Al Snow, dude.
Oh, you know it, man. The Job Squad, man. Al Snow was just awesome. He had head.
Yes. What does everybody want?
What does everybody need?
But he used to have the "help me" written backwards on his forehead. I thought that was a great gimmick, man. But yeah, when we saw him there, we didn't realize he was going to be there.
No, yeah,
and
we
were
like,
surprised. Oh my gosh, Al Snow. We ran over, we were talking to him, and I remember we told him, we said, hey, can we get a photo with you? And he actually, man, his whole demeanor changed in an instant. That he was like, they make me charge you guys for a photo. I'm so sorry. Like he genuinely felt bad that he had to ask us for money, and we're like, dude, no, it's no problem. Here's But he was like, well, everyone get in the picture. That way, I just have to charge you once. And it was his idea to take the picture like this, which we thought was hilarious, man. So super fun, good time.
So as you guys can see, if you've never been to a con before, I mean, there's a lot of cool shenanigans going on and fun. And these guys, you really get the feeling that these are just. They're people. I mean, of course, they're celebrity status, but they have a lot of fun with you too. So good time. Oh, Jason L's down there saying head. He called it, man. It's so cool.
All right. Oh, here we go. Here's your balloon. This guy was like a balloon animal expert extraordinaire. So he made this one here, and you could say it has a remarkable likeness to you.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that was my Charboil balloon, man. I mean, I tried to keep that thing as long as I could. Like, I think eventually it was just like little swivels, like all the air had gone up, but it was so cool, and I was so happy to have it.
And it was like 3 feet tall. It was huge.
And dude, I gotta just point out one other thing, like. These pictures are pretty classic. We're talking about almost a decade old. Yeah. Check out that little that little cell phone holder that I got going on there.
You're definitely on the cutting edge of fashion, sir.
Oh, you know it, man. Well, look how small that thing was. That's like not.
Now you're like, hello.
Oh, look at that. Katie D says balloon boil. There you go. That was it, man. So much fun.
Absolutely. Oh man. The classic. Lou Ferrigno played the Incredible Hulk in the original 70s TV show with Bill Bixby and stuff, man. And they used to paint him all green to be the Hulk.
Yep.
And we debated whether or not we would tell a story about Lou Ferrigno, and I totally think we should.
Go ahead. Throw it out there. I think it's worth a chuckle.
Well, we went out there, and we met Lou Ferrigno, and we ran up to his table and we're like, oh my gosh. I said, bro, can I get an autograph from you? My mom loves you. Can you make it out to her? So I bought this cool print to him as the Hulk. And, we keep asking him questions and talking to him. And he's totally like ignoring us. Like he's looking around. He's not paying any attention. And we keep telling him like, hey, what do you think of the new Hulk movies? And he's just, it's like he could care less. And we were like, wow, man. So I know we've said a number of times how cool it was to meet every celebrity, but this was definitely like, what the F, man, So I asked him if I could take a picture, and it took some doing for us to finally be like, dude, I'm just going to take a picture with my camera, and someone will take it with us, and we take this photo together. And the guy's a beast, super nice guy. Had to pay a crazy amount of money to take the photo and get the print and all. So we were kind of like, dude, that was a weird experience. And I was kind of upset. I mean, obviously, I wasn't going to argue with this guy about how much he wanted for a photo.
You're like, hey, Paul, give me some money.
Give me some of that rich guy's cell phone money since you have your flashy cell phone there. But no, like, it was just because the experience was so awkward. I was a little kind of it sat with me wrong. So I remember this was right before we went over and we saw Jake the Snake.
Yes,
and we had this great experience with Jake the Snake, and no joke. I literally said, I was like, dude, you're so amazing and so kind and so cordial. We just came from talking to Lou Ferrigno, and he was totally a jerk and ignored us like most of the time. And Jake the Snake looked at me with like kind of a sad face and was like, dude, you guys know he's deaf, right? and we were like, what? And they were like, yeah, he's deaf. He can't hear you. He's not ignoring you. Like, he probably can't hear you. And we totally felt like complete schmucks, man.
Absolutely, man. That was definitely one of those moments where you're just like, oh. Yeah. Now, like you said, just to kind of, I see it's getting thrown down in the comments here, man, but I think we did dub that, when he did charge you all that money. What do we call that, El Bandito?
Oh my God, I can't believe someone put that in the comments. Yeah, Ferrigno'd. You got Ferrigno'd right there when you paid way too much money for something that you're like, what? But you can't say no now because you're already like halfway into it.
Well, you're not going to say no to that.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, at that moment, I would have helped you. Look, here's the funny thing. Oh, look at this. Jason L says, did he crush your hand when he shook it? I mean,
no, he was surprisingly gentle.
He was very gentle.
He's a gentle giant.
Now, didn't he also sign one for your mom? Like,
yes.
But he couldn't understand what you were saying her name was?
Yes, and that should have been the first clue. Was I had to repeat her name to him like 6 times, and her name is Isabel, but I told him just make it out to Issa, Isa, Issa, and he kept he didn't understand what I was saying. And lo and behold, he didn't understand what I was saying. So I really, really, really felt bad. So apologies to Lou Ferrigno. I still think he charged me a little too much, but that's okay, man. It's water under the bridge. So.
Look at that bicep. God
I know.
damn.
Look at the tricep underneath it, man. The guy's a beast. Yeah. I mean, any way you slice it, he was a gentleman about the whole transaction. It's not like he was actually rude to us.
Yeah.
We just kind of got that misconception because we didn't realize. So, but super cool guy. I framed the print in this cool, like, rough. I should have brought it. This cool, rough, like, wood that looks like it's mashed up. So it looks like some Hulk raged, mashed up frame. So really neat stuff.
Absolutely, man. So much fun.
Yeah. But all right, we got only a couple more photos here, and we'll get back to telling you guys about some cons where you can go to and have fun experiences like this. But here is the legendary Lloyd Kaufman himself of the Toxic Avenger. He was cameoed in the Guardians of the Galaxy because the creator James Gunn cut his teeth with Lloyd back in the day. And man,
without Lloyd, there'd be no South Park. I mean, I know it's going a little far. I mean, Matt Stone and Trey Parker definitely had created it, but Lloyd helping them produce their distribute Cannibal the Musical definitely got them in the eye of Comedy Central and stuff, and eventually went off to do their thing. So lots of guys that are really doing big stuff now do owe a lot of stuff to Lloyd, and like it was just so awesome to meet him. He was a big defender of net neutrality, and he's still out there doing movies, man. Over 40 years of experience.
And Poultrygeist, by far my favorite movie he's ever done. If you haven't seen Poultrygeist, that's right, like a chicken, Poultrygeist, you got to check it out. It's a romp off a poltergeist scenario that happens at what is basically a KFC, and awesome. Just super good.
I like this comment down here. Jason also is going to look like your arms later this year. He's talking about that Ferrigno. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy was a Mr. Universe competitor. I think you've got about a decade to go before you look like that.
You're probably.
Hey,
I'm going to look more like Lloyd Kaufman here. Now, lots of fun. Lloyd was so cool.
Nice. Really fun guy. He talked to us for like a half an hour, man. He was so nice. Has all this cool merchandise. We'll tell you all about his different projects, what new stuff he's doing. He'll tell you cool stories about how he got into stuff. We bought a number of his books because his books, after we got that first one that you got, we went back and read it, and it's hilarious and filled with great insight of how to just get shit done. And so I think a lot of our mentality towards that definitely stems from what we learned from Lloyd, man.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Mr. Kaufman, for that. And thank you for the fun work you do, bro.
Oh, man, so good.
This is getting out of hand. I think we should call the cops.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah.
Lloyd from Crank.
So good.
All right. So here we go. We got some photos of Bishop. This is our most recent trip out to MegaCon, and I just wanted to talk about the people who come in costume. Because we talk about cosplayers and people, the tap dancing cosplayers and stuff like that. There are so many just regular people who cosplay at these conventions that all three of these people were not there to do anything other than enjoy the convention, but this is how they chose to dress while they were there.
So cool, man.
And I'm sure that they might have entered the costume contest or something too, but a lot of these people, they don't even care about that. They want to represent these characters that they love. So, I mean, we've got Lana Kane over there from Archer. We've got Griff from Back to the Future Part 2.
So cool.
And a T-1000. Yeah, this guy's completely painted silver. So cool. And that is one of my most enjoyable things. I could have pulled up a bunch of photos of me with gorgeous women dressed as Power Girl or Rogue or Mystique or whatever, but I figured that was a little too on the nose.
We know how much you love those. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a little more of a broad scope of kind of the really cool different genres. I mean, here we have a cartoon show, an 80s film, and then a science fiction classic. Like, I think Terminator 2 is probably one of the best movies of all time.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And none of them are a comic book character. So it just goes to show you what you can actually find at these conventions. I mean, MegaCon itself originated as an anime convention that started having comic books and film celebrities and stuff like that show up. So, boom, it expanded into an all-around convention of just nerdiness. So really cool stuff, really fun stuff they got going on out there. And
oh, look at these guys. Oh, man, where's Party Man Will, man? He would love this.
That cosplay enthusiasm is just, it just resonates through the whole place. This is several years ago when the Jeff Johns was doing his Green Lantern core books and stuff like that were just amazing and super hot. So we had a whole troop of them. Nowadays, you'll go there and find twice as many people dressed like Deadpool, you know. So it kind of changes with the times. And you always see all this new stuff and fun stuff. So it's just great, though, when you see these groups of people. Like, these people came, they may have come together, they may have not come together.
Sure.
You know, and they may have just seen each other in costume and been like, dude, let's get an awesome photo together.
Start their own corpse right there. Right? They're just like a core, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So, needless to say, you know, we went. You know, we went as El Bandito and Charboil. So.
You know it, man. You know, we had to represent, you know. All I gotta say is there's that epic, my epic cell phone case along with your epic sash.
Yes. It's my sash of holding. I can pull anything out of it.
There you go, man. If anyone's interested about those Power Hour shirts, they're coming.
All right, but that really encompasses a lot of what goes into a con, man. The great experiences you can have meeting celebrities, artists, guests, other people, other patrons of the show. You know, when you get to dress up and go have fun, man. There's so many cool elements of a con that we just can't encourage these enough. We do have a little bit more information for two of the biggest cons coming out that we'd like to get to. But real quick, we're going to do a little bit more news, keep you guys up to date on the wackiest stuff going on in the world out there around you. So let's go ahead and head right over there.
Let's do it.
PoDunk News.
Oh, man. Well, earlier we promised some video game news, man. Now, we will warn you guys that this news may make you feel a little old, but don't worry, we're right there with you. Well,
yep. So we're talking about Metal Gear Solid 4, Fallout 3, and Grand Theft Auto 4.
Like I said, it might be hard to believe, but this year these games are all celebrating their 10th anniversary.
Ooh.
I know, like I said, it hurts a little bit. It stings, but you know, the one thing I could say about each one of these games is that they were very monumental for their time. And like, I mean, Grand Theft Auto, we know even, 10 years before that, they were like doing crazy stuff, but man, Fallout coming to the 3D, first-person shooter realm. I know for us, like that is a huge series.
Yes.
Metal Gear Solid making their fourth entry. Progressing that story of Solid Snake. I know that was huge. So yeah, definitely. Just that these games have been around for 10 years. It's almost hard to believe, but very cool. I know they've talked about that there might be a remaster of Fallout 3 at some point. So we'll have to see where it goes. I'd love for them to finally put Metal Gear 4 on Xbox so I could play it. But, it is what it is. But, of course, and I'm sure at some point we'll get a new Grand Theft Auto. But, hey, happy 10th birthday to these three games.
Absolutely. To these three legendary and iconic titles, man. Good stuff. Now, what's going on with Resident Evil 2? I know that's more than 10 years old.
Dude, that, like I said, I'm not trying to make us feel old, but, man, this game is hitting its 20th anniversary.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, man. Now, what's exciting about this, we're definitely expecting sometime this year a remake of Resident Evil 2.
Nice.
The team, RE team or whatever, the guys who do all the development on Resident Evil have promised that they're going to keep in the vein of the game.
Okay.
Because everybody's thinking, it's going to be first person like the new game, or is it gonna, but they said, they're paying homage to it. They're not trying to bastardize it in a way that people are like, this isn't my Resident Evil 2, but just the fact that this game is 20 years old. I know me and Party Man Will were just talking, and we were saying when we first played this game, and how it was you got together with your buddies and you'd have a sleepover. We were all in high school or maybe even kind of just getting out of middle school, but you'd all hang out and just stay up all hours of the night trying to beat this wild ass game. So
yeah, I know I played this for the first time with Party Man Will.
There you go.
I went to his house and he was like, dude, have you ever played this? Check it out. And I could not understand, I'd never played a PlayStation before. Ever. So the dual joystick things, I was like, here, you just do it and I'll watch you play. And then I'd be like, get in the room with the thing because it had the other spray from the ink thing that you put in the typewriter. And he's like, I don't know, dude. He's just shooting stuff and he's super good at that. So together we made it through the game and it was fun.
Dude, that's great. Like I said, I think he was telling me the story of that weekend. He didn't put any names to the other participants, but that's awesome, man. But yes, Resident Evil, the first game was great, revolutionary, but really when everybody thinks about Resident Evil, this is the one you're thinking about. You know, the liquors, you know, crawling around and
Yeah.
shit. You know, like they were. It was scary as hell. You know, giant alligators in the sewer. I mean, I'm gonna play the remake. I mean, I remember the original game, but just to relive it, I think would be cool.
To play both sides of it, where you play as I think it's Leon, right?
Yes,
and then
Claire.
And Claire, yeah, and you can play through the game twice, and certain things would change based on what you did the first time.
Yep.
You could leave yourself equipment from one character to the other.
Yes.
I mean, so many innovative leaps in this game, and so much great stuff. Cement Man.
Oh yeah.
You know,
well,
just
and if
cool
you
stuff.
when you beat the one half of the game and then you went back and played as the other, it like kind of continued the story. So very, very awesome stuff. So definitely happy 20th birthday to Resident Evil 2. Well, guess what? We know you guys love video games. Now we're going to tell you about how to get a classic video game for free.
Oh man, that sounds like The Price is Right.
And man, I know we're talking about scary stuff, man. We've got Dead Space, another game that's 10 years old. I can't believe this, you know?
So celebrating its 10th anniversary, they're giving it away for free.
Yes. Now,
Man.
there is one catch. You got to play it on the PC. So now we don't know how long this is going to last. So if you're interested, you know, definitely go and check it out on Steam and try to get part of this promotion. But yeah, to celebrate its 10th anniversary, Dead Space is available online through PC for free.
Dude, that's awesome, man. Now, I'd love to knock the other 3 games we talked about earlier for not giving themselves away for free. But then again, I think everyone has Grand Theft Auto 4, Fallout 3, and, you know...
Yeah, if they can play Sons of the Patriot, yeah.
Yeah, anybody who wanted Metal Gear Solid 4 had it, you know?
Absolutely.
So understand it. But Dead Space has always been something I've been interested in, and I'm definitely going to try to get my hands on this for free, man. That is pretty wicked.
Now... real quick, before we jump out of the newsroom, we do got some breaking news that just came out today that definitely, you know, we don't have a cool image for you guys because it's so recent.
Okay.
But, man, Kevin Smith, you know, famous filmmaker, age 47, suffered a massive heart attack.
Oh, man.
Early this morning. He had a 100% blockage of his LAD artery, his lad. You know, and he canceled a comedy show last night because he wasn't feeling well and checked himself into the hospital. Well, the doctor said if he hadn't made that move, like if he would have went out on stage, like he most likely would have died.
Wow,
like, I mean, there were, but he did do a tweet and he said that, you know, he's still above ground.
Okay.
So he's, you know, he's not done yet. But
Yeah. Well, I know they have a lot of techniques and medical stuff to do with cleaning out blockages and hearts and arteries and stuff. So, you know, hopefully he'll be okay, man, because
absolutely.
I don't think his best work's behind him. I think he's got a lot more to give us, man, and a lot more cool places to delve into. I love his work. I love his stuff. Hearts out to you, man. We're going to show you some love.
Do it, man. Absolutely. Get well soon, man. Definitely. Well, I think that's going to about wrap it up for PoDunk News, man. But, man, we still got some awesome convention stuff coming your guys' way. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss this.
Let's check it.
Video Game Zone.
Audio time.
Oh, man, you know, like we said, we love the video games. We love Kevin Smith, you know, definitely. But now we're going to talk about something else that we love, and it's more conventions.
Absolutely, guys. We've got just one or two more awesome conventions we want to tell you guys about. We've got MegaCon in Orlando, the one that we keep bringing up. You know, it's the one we've been to the most. That's why we've got so many fun stories out there. And just right off the bat, I have to address this because it bothered me from the get-go. What is with this, like, garbage graphic they made this year? This is like, they just used, like, the font that came with Windows and made this in 5 minutes. I'm like, and now don't get me wrong. It's nice. It's nice. It's elegant. It's put together well, you know, whatever. But in the past, all of their logos and stuff have featured comic book characters, and like there was one that had a crocodile on a surfboard with Spider-Man.
Cool, I like that one.
You know, all these amazing art and imagery. It's like, how did it boil down to this or that? You know, are they just worried about lawsuit stuff or copyright infringement? I don't know, man.
Maybe they spent too much money on all these guests that they're having.
Maybe, dude. But you figure it's the biggest con. They have 100,000 people show up throughout the course of the weekend. Everyone's paying, you know, $30-$40 to get in there. And this is where they're throwing their dough at, man? Like, come on. Even their website's a little, like, old looking. Like, come on, guys.
Well, definitely, you know, like you said, I mean, I'm not sure where they're going with the marketing campaign, But man, if you're going to talk about some of the guests that they have coming up, man, it definitely is pretty wild. But hey, real quick, just so you guys know, MegaCon varies. As you can see here, it's the 24th through the 27th. So there's quite a few days. But yeah, the tickets range from $35 a day. Like I said, that might only be on Thursday or Sunday. There's too much of a variable for us to go through each piece. But they go from $35 to $150. Now the $150 would obviously get you guys in for the whole
event.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
okay.
Just to kind of throw it out there, and it's birthplace being the Orlando Convention Center.
Yeah, the Orange County Convention Center up there. Huge thing. Things like an airport terminal.
Oh, yeah.
So I love the fact that they use that convention center because you still really get some free range, some movement in there. It never really gets too crowded. One year it was bad when 30,000 people showed up that they didn't expect. That was pretty rugged. But they've definitely compensated for that. They opened up another concourse and everything's pretty dope. But I hear that they're doing something special with their ticket sales this year. What are they doing?
Oh, man, yeah, this is the first time ever they're offering a refundable ticket.
Ooh.
I know you guys, they're probably...
what does that entail?
What's up with that? Well, what they're trying to do is, people buy these tickets, months in advance, and, maybe something comes up and, your kid gets sick or, something like that. Well, you could actually get a refund, you could turn the ticket in if you don't attend and say, hey, can I get some of that money? Now, I do know the ticket's a little more, but it's almost like you're buying yourself insurance just in case you don't want to go. Or
okay, if you have to pay extra for the availability to return it, that's kind of dumpy, but whatever.
Sure, but it's just an option. I don't think I've ever heard of another con doing that, but most likely they're probably taking it off of maybe something San Diego has done.
Sure.
But definitely it's just a new option that they're doing for the first time. So.
But I will say this, their lineup this year is looking pretty amazing. Their celebrity guests is what we're going to start off with. And guys, take a look at this, man.
Woo!
They have got Jeff Goldblum, right? From Thor Ragnarok, from Jurassic Park. They've got Jason Momoa, who most recently played Aquaman in the Justice League film, is on this great show, Frontier, on Netflix.
Khal
Drogo from Game of Thrones. Like I said, if there were some Game of Thrones cats out there, I'd go check them out. So here we go. And what else did I say? What else did I say would be a great guest to have at a con? The Defenders, right?
There you go.
So they may not have got every single one of them, but they got Charlie Cox out there. The guy who plays Daredevil is going to be at MegaCon this year. So that's pretty awesome. And if you got the touchy-feelies deep down inside for some childhood memories, you got Chewbacca showing up there, the original Chewbacca there.
You know it, man.
And Amy Jo Johnson, who played the original Pink Power Rangers on the American version of Power Rangers, man. I mean, you can't beat that. They've also got Paul Rubens.
Oh, Pee-wee.
Yeah, he plays Pee-wee Herman. I almost said Pee-wee Rubens, but yeah. So
he's also been on. He was on Gotham.
Yes.
For a while. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Oh, if I know there might be a fan or two out there that will catch that one, and be like, ooh.
Absolutely. We've got special guests from Doctor Who, from The Walking Dead, from the new show Runaways. I mean, they have so many awesome celebrities coming out here that I'm just super stoked, and they're still releasing people every day. I mean, the actor who plays Abraham on The Walking Dead, they just announced over the weekend. So that's awesome. They're still adding people all the time. I also like that this is actually how they're listed on their website. So Jeff Goldblum's obviously the most iconic star on this whole page.
Sure.
But they don't give him any special treatment. And I kind of like that. It's the order in which they're announced, and that's the end of it. So I think that's really nice,
Yeah. Nobody's getting, like you said, that star treatment.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, what a guest lineup. What do you think of that, Senior Bowl?
It looks hot, man. Like you said, it's been a couple years since we've went. I see people in the comments throwing it down saying, man, we might have to go to this. So, yeah, I mean, I think I agree. This one's looking pretty cool. But, man, it doesn't stop with just media guests. What else do they have?
It absolutely does not, man. They are also doing a set of guests dedicated to the Princess Bride.
Oh, man. Inconceivable.
Absolutely. So they got Carrie Elways, they got Chris Sarandon, and Wallace Shawn all showing up. Now, Wallace Shawn, I want to go get him to sign a print of the Grand Negus. That's what I want him to do.
That's what I'm talking about. I just hit that Deep Space Nine episode, so I love the Grand Negus. And, man, absolutely, it would be awesome to meet Wallace Shawn.
Absolutely, and I feel bad. I'd do the same thing for Carrie Elways. That I'd be like, bro, could you sign my Robin Hood Men in Tights print right there?
That's awesome. I forgot that he was in that.
Yeah.
So
but
good.
that's a great lineup of guys, especially for people who are a fan of this movie.
Yes.
Now, obviously, I love The Princess Bride. I have my Inigo Montoya shirt. I'll wear it sometime on the show so you guys can see it. But yeah, so that's a really cool little celebrity panel there. But it doesn't stop with just movie stars, like you said. We've also got a great, fantastic lineup of artists. Like I said, Greg Horne's probably going to be there. They never say he is,
I'm
but
sure,
he's probably going to be there. They've also got Jim Lee.
Classic,
man, the legendary Jim Lee did all that work on Batman and Superman for DC. That's just amazing. I have so many posters of his artwork. I have so many T-shirts that I found out after the fact. You know, you buy them at Walmart and you're looking at them for a bit and you're like, dude, this looks like a Jim Lee. And you go look it up and you're like, yeah, that's absolutely a Jim Lee, dude.
That's awesome, and phenomenal. You
yeah,
know? I mean,
didn't he do
many
Hush? Wasn't
yes.
he? Yeah, he did Hush.
Him and Jeff Loeb wrote the story, and Jim Lee did all the artwork. So yeah, you're right. A lot of that early Batman Arkham Asylum artwork was in the style of Jim Lee. So
yes.
people are probably more familiar with his work than they realize, you know.
Yes, yeah, because the Arkham video game series is kind of based off his look. You know?
Oh, the 1992 X-Men. You know,
yeah.
that's probably, I would say that's probably his most famous work,
yeah.
you know, as far as, you know, comics go. But yeah, awesome stuff, man.
No doubt. In the corner here with the Harley Quinns, we've got Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti.
That's Jimmy.
Super amazing couple. We saw Stan Lee give a panel where Jimmy Palmiotti, a former editor of Marvel, was kind of his, what did you say, his liaison?
Yeah, his handler, you know, someone that helped him out.
Yeah, you know, they'd bounce ideas off him and stuff like that, and he would help Stan Lee. You know, if he didn't hear someone in the audience or something like that, he'd fill him in on what was going down. And then Amanda Conner does amazing work. She's an artist. I have a ton of her prints as well. She's worked on She-Hulk. She's worked on Power Girl. She did the runs of Power Girl. Most recently, they're working on these Harley Quinn books, which are all over the place. It's Harley Quinn meets everyone in the freaking universe. You know, so super great stuff. I actually had the opportunity to meet both of them a few years ago. I did not realize they're a husband and wife team. Hopefully they still are, you know.
Yeah, you never know, right?
You never know.
It's a tough business.
Yeah, but I went specifically to get an autograph from Amanda Conner, and in talking to her, she was like, let me get my husband to sign this as well. She took it over to him, and he said, hey, I know the third person that worked on the book with us. He's right over here. I'll take him over, and he'll sign this book for you. So it was my 30th birthday. And I went down there, and my sister was with me, Bishop was with me, and they told her, hey, it's his birthday. So she signed a cover of Power Girl #1 for me. Happy birthday to Charles. I was like, oh, my gosh, it's so nice. And when they took it around to everyone who worked on the book, I was just blown away. And again, when you meet these artists and celebrities who you kind of immortalize in your head, and then they turn out to just be so nice and so cool like that, it's humbling, you know. And I'll show you guys the
Oh, yeah, definitely, man.
I got the actual comic here. I keep it framed up in my room. There's my Power Girl. Let's see if you guys can see. Yeah, it might be a little blurry, but you got some happy birthday stuff over there. So, yeah, some Jimmy Palmiotti. I think it's Justin Gray, I believe is the guy's name.
Cool.
And then Amanda Conner all worked on this book together. So
very cool, man. I know that. I remember you telling me that story, and I was like, man, that's just so awesome, man, that you were able to meet all those guys and they all signed off on that for you. Absolutely, man. And I mean, what a birthday treat to get. You know, I mean, I wasn't going to say anything. It's my birthday. I'm not going to say anything. You know, but my sister and Bishop were all like, dude, it's his birthday. Like, sign it, happy birthday. And then they were like, oh, that's best. They were so excited about that. But super cool people. And I definitely asked them what made them make the comic The Pro, which is about a prostitute who gets superpowers. And I told her, I said, you know, you make such classy work in She-Hulk and Power Girl of like not sexualizing the characters. Like, what led you to do The Pro, you know? And she's like, bro, that was the jam. It's just fun. So they have great personalities, both of them. A lot of fun stuff. But I know you also got an autograph. A couple of autographs, I think. That are very special to you as well. Yes, you know, my dad is a huge fan of Superman, and now when I say that, you know, my dad grew up watching, you know, the George Reeves Superman from the 1950s. Mm-hmm. You know, first time Superman was actually brought to media. You know, of course he loved the comics too, but you know, so he grew up watching, and of course, you know, George Reeves passed on way early on, and but Noel Neal was the Lois Lane
Yes.
to his Superman. So I was lucky enough, while Noel Neal was still with us, to meet her at MegaCon, and I got an awesome autograph for my dad. So I'm going to pull it up real quick here to kind of share with you guys. So right there, kind of might be a little hard to see, but it did say up there, it said, Joe, best wishes, Noel Neal, Lois Lane. So it was just really cool. She was such a nice lady. I mean, I remember when I walked up, she didn't have a lot of people around her table. And I walked up and she was sitting there and she stood up, to like talk to me.
That's
and I was
awesome.
like, no, please don't get up. And she just was like, no. And the one thing that was really cool is she stood up and she had a belt buckle. And it was a bedazzled, like, Superman logo. So
That's awesome.
She was just so cool, very nice, and I told her, I said, my dad grew up watching you.
Yeah.
And I told him a story my dad would tell me where he actually jumped off, like, the air conditioning unit that they had in their apartment, thinking he was Superman. He hurt himself. And she's like, oh, that's so sad, And I was like, no, he was that big of a fan. He thought he was Superman, But, yeah, he loved it. I brought it home and he was like, oh my gosh, he's like, I mean, he was just like, he didn't realize she was still alive at the time.
Yeah.
Actually, come to think of it, she only passed away just a year ago. So awesome, for Noel Neal. Real quick though, just to kind of finish that story in, the following year while we were there, we got to meet Margot Kidder, who was Lois Lane in
the Christopher Reeves Superman movies of the 70s. So, yeah, definitely a great,
Yeah, to have the combo.
Yeah.
So right there, it says to Joe, love Margot Kidder. Now, we do have a funny, real quick, we kind of approached her while she was eating her lunch. So, she wasn't like super happy with us, but she still signed the. I think when she realized I was going to buy something, things were better. But then you kind of let me in on a secret that she's she's definitely has her way with certain fans.
Yeah. They say she can be a bit of a wild card at times, but again, cordial once you get in there and you meet the people. But also, too, I think that's big in part of, like, someone was supposed to be keeping people away while she was eating lunch, and that guy totally dropped the ball.
And we felt bad. We even said, hey, do you want us to
we didn't
come
realize
back later?
walking up. But.
Yeah, but she was like, no. And she put her lunch down and signed the autograph. And like I said, my dad was just happy to have it. He's like, oh, now you got to get me the one from the TV show, Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I haven't been
hey,
able
man,
to...
if you want to go track down Terry Hatcher, I'm game. I don't. Yeah, she's what, like 47 now? She's a babe.
There you go,
She's
man.
in the new Supergirl show.
Oh, yeah.
So she looks banging.
She
She's
might
out there
be,
hanging out
she
with
might
Kevin
be
Sorbo, bro.
She might be attainable for that autograph.
Again, like, it sounds dumb, but I'd be like, sign my Desperate Housewives stuff. So I loved that show. I'm not ashamed, man. It's good stuff.
So aside from artists, aside from guests, what else is going down at MegaCon?
Oh man, they've got some wild stuff coming, man. If you're a big Superman fan, that's great. If you're a big Batman fan, then man, we're right there with you, and you're gonna love this year's MegaCon because, especially if you're a fan of the '89, they're bringing the Batmobile, bro.
Oh yeah, man. One of the first times I was able to take a picture with this thing was I went to the Great Adventure in New Jersey, and they had the big model of it. But even still, like, it wasn't a Batmobile that you could get in and drive away with. This Batmobile that they're going to have there, somebody actually drives that to the con, It's not just a model, I mean, it's so cool, man.
Well, just to me, this design for the Batmobile captured the Batmobile for me.
Yeah.
I mean, all the other iterations of it, especially in this chain of movies, were terrible. Like the junk and Batman and Robin and stuff. And even Batman Forever was just trashy looking. I didn't like it. But this vehicle looks so classy, and it really has that look of a 40s era car. Which most of Gotham, always looks like kind of noir like that.
Absolutely.
So this really looked like a futuristic jet car that was noir.
Yeah, I agree, man. This is my favorite.
Yeah.
And
the Tumbler and stuff is cool because it's more practical, but that's everything about Christopher Nolan's films, where that they were more practical.
Yeah,
the newest one for Justice League is just kind of a take off the Tumbler. So you're like, well, okay, I guess that's just what it's going to be, and you kind of lost the aesthetics of it. It's not a pretty vehicle anymore.
And like you said, then of course, went on to have like the animated series and stuff
Yeah.
that definitely modeled after this.
Yes, very
Even in
similar.
the-
Yes.
Even in the Arkham games, very much in this style. So,
Mhm.
like I said, this is definitely the quintessential comic book Batmobile.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd love to see it.
Well, I think by the time you got to the Arkham Knight, though, it very much was like the Tumbler.
yeah,
But
that's true.
the
That's
first
true.
couple, when they would just show it in a cutscene,
Yeah.
it really looked like the animated series one. But yeah, then when they added like a tank turret to it and stuff,
That's true.
you're
that's
like,
true.
okay, cool. But if you're into big guns, man, they got some big guns coming out to MegaCon because they have got the 501st Star Wars Legion and they've got the ODST drop pod experience that you can check out at MegaCon this year. So
This
pretty
is
cool.
This is very cool. I mean, these guys do a Imperial March, man, and it's like you're right there with the Empire.
Mhm.
Same thing. If you're a big fan of Halo, man, it sounds like you said it's not just something that you could go take a picture with.
Yes.
It sounds like you're going to get inside of it. Who knows? Maybe it's going to have a video play and drive. We'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, man. And the 501st Legion, they operate all over, man. I mean, they go all over the country. They do charity events. Here they are at a charity event here. This photo I took of them there. But when you see these guys, like a lot of hardcore fans know that the original Stormtrooper costumes are like made trashy. Like someone made them like who wasn't like a costume designer. He actually made fish tanks.
Oh wow!
And he had like the pressing material to make vacuum sealed stuff. So they hired him to do it. But he ordered a kind of plastic that was supposed to be better for doing something for a person to stick their head in.
Okay.
And it was some kind of better plastic, but it didn't mold right. So half the faces would be lumpy. So they'd always have to shoot them from a certain angle.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
paint wouldn't adhere to the plastic.
Wow.
So they were constantly painting them in between takes, and they say real collectors can tell the difference between a knockoff and a real one because a real one will look so shitty that it's really real. But the 501st Legion, everything they have looks like they're real stormtroopers.
That's
like,
pretty cool.
In
man.
a professional first order type army where everything looks just uniform and perfect and gorgeous, and these guys' costumes are impeccable. We've seen them a number of times. We've seen them with Darth Vader march with them. We've seen them with Darth Maul march with them, and these guys are just spot on, man.
Absolutely, man. So much cool stuff to see. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of gaming and stuff going on,
Yeah.
too. Tons of different, what do they say, 4,000 feet of shopping experience, at MegaCon. So,
Yeah.
man, if you're looking for something, you're probably going to find it at MegaCon.
No doubt, man. When it comes to vendors, they have got second to none. And when it comes to fans of stuff, because this is sort of an anime convention that took off and spawned into this crazy thing, they have a whole medley of different genres of stuff that you could go and really get into. Like they'll have a whole Back to the Future section. They'll have a whole Ghostbuster section. They'll have numerous anime sections for animes that I don't even know what they are. And then they have artist alleys that are dedicated to independent artists. So if you are more of an independent comic fan or just a fan of independent people in general, you can go and check out their work. It's just so much. There's LARPing, tabletop gaming, everything you can think of. Chessex actually has a booth there where they sell brand new dice that they've made. So really, really cool stuff. Something for everybody. It's great for kids to be there. They have an after party usually that's not for kids to be there, but super cool.
Yeah.
So just good stuff going down at MegaCon, guys. Go and check it out.
Well, definitely, we said a lot of great stuff about MegaCon, but we got one more convention to tell you guys about that you do not want to miss. One of my favorites. I know Justin McPatches was in here earlier. I know it's one of his favorites. We're talking about Spooky Empire.
Absolutely, guys. This is one I haven't made it out to yet, but every year I see their celebrity guest list, and I'm blown away by the awesome cats that they have show up there. Just what was it, a year or two ago? They had the entire cast of Stranger Things there.
Yes, yeah. It's right when Stranger Things was taken off. And I mean, what's cool about Spooky Empire is that they do a con in April. They call it like almost like their retro con where they do it at a little bit of a smaller venue. But then in October, Halloween time, they really go out crazy. It's just the stuff that they bring in. Like you said, Stranger Things, Alice Cooper, all kinds of like wild guys have been there, man. And yeah, what I really like about it is it really reminds me of almost like what MegaCon used to be, where the guests are very accessible. Now, don't get me wrong, like their main person, if they have Linda Blair or Alice Cooper, he's in a room that you gotta pay a little extra to go in
Sure.
and see. But like you said, all the guys from Stranger Things, man, they're kind of just right in the little guest area. You go up and talk
awesome.
to them. I think even a couple people were just like, yeah, man, we can take a photo. You don't have to pay me for that. So it just seems a little more low key. I mean, a lot of the horror, actors and stuff like that are just so proud to be a part of it. I know about a year or two ago when we had a hurricane, they had to cancel the convention, and Kane Hodder, Jason does Jason. He stuck around to the following weekend and went. They had a mini event, to kind of like support, because of course tons of people wanted their money back and stuff like that, and he was there and he hung out for the whole weekend. I mean,
Wow.
that's just they have a real good fan base, what I mean? Yeah. So
no doubt. And again, that's one thing about the horror movie genre as a whole, which is kind of what Spooky Empire is representing, obviously.
Yes.
Is just that they kind of fall right into that vein of independent kind of art, and like we were talking about earlier, when you get these artists who kind of work on a shoestring budget, these are people that are passionate about what they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
They really want to make and create and be artists and come up with something new and original and exciting and captivating. And that's so much the horror genre, man, and what that they always do. So, I mean, if you're unfamiliar with it, you can check out you can check out Justin McPatches and
absolutely.
his wife do their horror show.
Absolutely, underground horror podcast, man, and like, man, they're always telling you the latest and greatest when it comes to spooky. Like you said, we know this year, it's April 6th through the 8th. It's at the Wyndham Orlando Resort, which is kind of cool because the hotel hosts the event, so you get yourself a hotel room. It gets a little crowded and the parking is kind of crazy, but once you get a space, just stay there. But you just walk right to the event, like it's right there.
Nice.
And then the after parties are taking place by the pool. Like I know, like the bass player from Marilyn Manson, Twiggy Ramirez, he was like doing like a DJ set or something when I went. Like it was just bananas, man. But it was so much fun, It was just. It was just great, and lots of cosplay. Like I said, lots of cool vendors. Of course, a lot of spooky stuff, Nightmare Before Christmas and all that. Lloyd Kaufman was there. But why don't we show them some of the guests that are going to be?
You got it. Well, how much is it going to be to get?
Well, that's very important. For the weekend pass, it will run you $65.
Okay.
But for daily, it goes between $30 and $35. So I'm sure, like on the
like Saturday, it's $35.
Exactly. So yeah, you can check it out on their website, spookyempire.com. Get all the ticket info. But let's talk about some guests, man.
You got it, man.
Oh man. So I know we're probably going to butcher this name. I should know how to say it, man. Why don't you take your shot at it?
I'll take a shot at it. It's the Chiodo brothers.
The Chiodo brothers. That sounds about right,
Yeah.
man. But what these guys are known for is for creating the movie The Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I know, which is basically the movie responsible for me never watching horror movies when I was a kid. Because I watched this one, God, I must have been 5 years old or something, and I was, it's clowns. This is like pants shitting terror for like a 5-year-old, And I never watched horror movies till I was like 20.
I can't believe that the Insane Clown Posse has never cited this as like an influence, Because I mean, come on, guys. These guys could be juggalos. I mean, they're look at.
But I will say their other work, Critters.
Yes,
that is one movie that I'm like, that excels as a horror movie, and it's like kind of like schlockiness, like it's kind of goofy, you know, like when they all glob together and they just roll over people and they would just be skeletons. Come on, that's awesome.
It was crazy. they could shoot those spikes out of their back. It was nuts. But yeah, absolutely, their other well-known work, being Critters. These guys would be great to meet and talk to. I'd love to.
Now, are these the guys who like wrote and directed it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They wrote it, directed. Yeah. It's their
okay. Because I noticed they're like linked in here with Team America, Elf, and Pee Wee Herman.
I think what they did is, they
do like effects and stuff.
Yeah,
on these other movies?
They started. Killer Clowns is definitely their baby.
Okay.
That's the one. But I think even like Critters and stuff like that, it was stuff that they they worked on.
Yeah, they
you
did
said,
like
their-
creature effects and stuff. For it.
Exactly.
Okay, I
So,
gotcha.
I'm sure they'd be awesome to talk to. I'd love to,
Heck yeah.
get in their ear for a few hours. So who knows, man? We might have to go up there to Spooky Empire and talk to the brothers.
Absolutely, man. I noticed you shied away from that name again.
Oh yeah, I keep it real.
Well, here's another one you can tangle with.
Oh man, David Naughton.
Hey, that sounds good. That's what I would have went with. Naughton.
But
I guess
he's
not gonna say his name right. That's
but, well, definitely he's most well known for American Werewolf in London, which
Yes.
I know. Like, I think the first time you saw that, like
we did. We watched that together, and I remember being like, I did not like this at all. And then we like immediately watched it again, and you were like, no, you missed something. Watch it again. And like Party Man Will came over or something, and we watched it, and I was like, okay, I get it. Yes,
Yeah.
I get it. I like missed it the first time, but on the second go around, you're like, oh, this like spawned this genre and had like a mind-bending sort of Wolfman transformation in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what the movie was really about, was that they kind of brought that element to life.
And same thing, like you said, like when you talk about just schlock, stuff that's like fun and kind of, it has a dark humor to it and
Yes.
stuff like that. Just a classic. Don't waste your time with American Werewolf in Paris. Just watch this one and be done with it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
definitely be cool to talk to him as well.
No, definitely. Great film, though. Like I said, you can find the appreciation for it.
You know it,
Yeah.
man. Well, here we got Eddie Munster, Butch Patrick. We were talking about the Munster mobile earlier.
Yeah, maybe he'll come riding it out, man.
That would be pretty. Well, another thing I think would be cool to talk to this guy is just that think about all the people he worked with.
Yeah.
Was that Herman? The judge.
I think it's Melville. No, it's not Mel. Herman Melville's the guy that wrote friggin' Moby Dick.
Yeah, no. But he
He's
played
the judge from My Cousin Vinny.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he played Herman Munster.
Mm-hmm.
I want to call him Herman Geen, but I don't think that's definitely not right. I know he's not Ed Gein. That was the serial.
It's
killer.
Fred Gween.
Fred Gween. Okay, there you go. Yeah, also known for playing the neighbor in Pet Cemetery. So I mean, definitely he's had his hands in quite a few films. I know My Cousin Vinny was like one of his final films.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, Butch Patrick here, little Eddie Munster. I'm sure he'd have a bunch of stories to tell about good old Fred and the rest of the crew.
Absolutely.
Grandpa.
Like here we go. Al Lewis, Yvonne DiCarlo, Pat Priest, all the other castmates that he would have worked with on the old show.
You know it, man. And they say that the Munsters was one of that cool shows where like they had like Christmas specials and they had Thanksgiving like they would always kind of bring them back for these like revivals, and it just kind of worked at the time, So it's pretty cool that he's still on the convention scene.
Absolutely, man. But here we've got a whole medley of people. We've got Catherine Hicks, Alex Vincent. We've got Rico Browning and Chelsea Talmadge, who is one of your Stranger Things alumni there.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure people will really be stoked about that. But real quick, before we talk about her, those two up on top, man, they're most well known for being part of the Child's Play franchise. Alex Vincent being the little boy that Chucky first tried to take possession of. So now, of course, he's an older man, some guy our age, But in the most recent Curse of Chucky movie, Cult of Chucky, he made his return.
Nice.
So he's actually fighting Chucky again. So very, very recent as far as if you're a fan of modern horror films.
Yeah.
Catherine Hicks, I know, went on to like do a bunch of like sitcom and I think like Lifetime movies and stuff like that. I know there's something else. I know
she's in Star Trek 4.
She is?
The Voyage Home. Yes.
Maybe that's where Mr. Fusion was totally.
That's the only place I know her from. I never liked the Child's Play movies.
Well, absolutely. But hey, dude right over here, that's the original creature.
Yeah, Rico Browning.
I mean, we're talking like 1956. He was in there swimming around. All three creature movies. He's still rocking out.
Yeah, and I love that they have the photo of him in the creature suit.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah, so I would love to meet
him.
The
creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes.
We all know who the creature is. It's like the pill. We may have heart medication, things that write your brain up and stuff, but when you say the pill, you know which pill we're talking about.
I was gonna say I know as far as Universal movie monsters go, me and my dad also share that's our favorite Universal.
Yeah,
monster.
he's also the one they haven't effed up yet. So that's good.
Don't say that too loudly.
It's coming, though.
I'm sure it's coming. It's coming.
It's kind of like when you were like, oh, don't worry. Maybe they'll make an Indiana Jones movie and it won't be as bad as the Star Wars prequels.
Oh, man, it was so bad. But one thing I do have to say, if I know there's Monster Squad fans out there, the creature wasn't there, but he was done masterfully for that. So that was great. But, yeah, definitely, awesome list of horror-themed actors and actresses that you guys could go meet at Spooky Empire.
Definitely, man. And they've also got the same cool stuff we were talking about with vendors who make all sorts of creative and exciting horror-themed merchandise and stuff for you guys to have. They do have a costume contest, so you'll still see the cosplayers and fun stuff like that in there. They actually have a tattoo festival going on because that's like huge for horror stuff. I mean, horror people love their ink, man.
Man.
They're going to have question and answer panels with the guest celebrities, artists, filmmakers, creators, all that sort of stuff. And they're going to have live performances there as well. Do you know any of the live performers?
I don't know, man. But, like I said, just like the one guy from Marilyn Manson, he got on there, was doing some DJing, so you never know. You might just have a surprise,
Yeah. Wicka, Eric.
But absolutely, man. And same thing. It's still a month away, so I'm sure they're going to be adding some more stuff. So be sure to get all your latest news over at spookyempire.com.
No doubt, guys. Well, all right. I think that's going to about wrap it up for us tonight. Let's try to keep it under 11 o'clock. We've got about 3 minutes to go.
Hey, man, we always kind of keep it under that 2-hour mark. We had a little bit of technical difficulties tonight, but, man, thank you guys so much for still hanging out with us, having fun. I do have to say, next week's going to be exciting. But I'm actually not going to be here. I'm going to be out on a little vacation for my birthday. But I know El Bandito's got some awesome stuff planned. So
it. We may even have a special guest in studio. So we're going to have some fun times, man. We want you guys to join us for that. And then gearing up for the second half of our spring season, we're going to have tons of really wicked stuff coming at you guys. So check back with us frequently, and we'll let you guys know what's going on. You may have noticed in our scroll here at the bottom, our contest is still going on to win a copy of Thor Ragnarok on Blu-ray. If you haven't subscribed over to our YouTube page, go ahead and do that. If you have your subscription set to private and you want to enter the contest, you do have to set it to public. Otherwise, we can't see who it is that's subscribing. It just tells us, and 9 other people. So if you want to be in the contest, you got to let us know. I mean, you could shoot us an email or something if you want to do that instead. But definitely at least subscribe to the page for us. Otherwise, guys, good luck for all you people who have entered. If you're already a subscriber, you are entered. We enjoyed hanging out with you guys tonight, and I can't wait to see you guys next week for some fun and special stuff.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, Bandito, have yourself a good night, man.
All right, have yourself a good trip.
Yeah.